He caused them a big problem all day. And also what the Dutch way of doing it really, as the centre-backs on this ball, is passing angles. He's got that one. He could maybe find Fellaini. But the one that they're opening up is for that one into the striker, into Van Persie's feet, and it's all about passing angles and getting into great positions. But again, the problem is that the space between Matic and Fabregas again, and it was fantastic play by United. It's obviously something they've worked on a lot, because when you play against Chelsea, you have to move that midfield. Matic is a huge presence for them in there. And what it ended up making Chelsea do was go 4-4-2, really. It's not the way Jose Mourinho likes to play. Oscar's job was to look after Blind, but because he went so deep, he ended up as a 4-4-2, really, Chelsea. And this is the midfield four. You just run it on, and Blind's very clever here. He just makes a little run in here, drags Oscar with him, and then this ball's on then. And this ball gets switched over now, and that's the understanding Blind's got. I think he's a very clever footballer. But as it comes to Smalling, Di Maria making a little move out wide to create space. People are making runs, not just for themselves, to create space for other people. It's so obvious that this is something that's being worked on. Again, Mata dragging an opponent out of that space. Stop it now. Again, look at that space between the two midfield players. We clear it, and that is now the pass on for Van Persie. Now, it's okay saying how good this play is. They've still never done enough when they got in those areas, United. But as I said, we can see already, just take it back a touch. Oscar again, trying to stop Blind. But look at the positions they find themselves in between players. Di Maria is on, Van Persie's also on. Also, look again, that position that caused Chelsea problems, Fellaini in between the lines. They were so disciplined, especially Mata and Fellaini, in holding their positions, holding their roles, and it caused Chelsea's midfield massive problems. Fabregas now has got a decision. Does he go here, or does he worry about Fellaini? That's what it caused them all day. Fabregas was nullified, and I think it affected his performance. Ivanovic, arm out. Who's picking Fellaini up? They didn't really know how to combat it, really, in that first half. And you see that ball go into Fellaini. And that's what they did. And the setup is typical 4-3-3, Ajax, Barcelona, people being disciplined in positions, staying in positions, and movement within those positions. And it caused Matic and Fabregas all kinds of problems. But
it was 0-0 at half-time. Having seen that, did Jose Mourinho change things in the second half?
No, United never capitalised on what was at times good play, and I think Jose Mourinho, the Chelsea team, in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the second half definitely changed. And we've got 3 clips here, and you see the intensity difference now. Chelsea have stepped it up. You talk about when Blind goes and gets it from the back players. It's exactly the same setup as Jamie's just shown you. But look at Costa and Drogba there. I'll highlight them. They're working harder. They're pressing higher. It's different. United are having to work harder to find the angles. It was more simple for United in the first half, but now he's hustling. He's working in between players a lot quicker, and it's making it difficult. And so at the start of the second half, Chelsea did up it. And then it comes out to Chris Smalling, and he ends up slicing it out of play, because Chelsea are definitely moving up a pace. You think about then this part now. Absolutely fantastic. This is just before the goal. And it's the play over here now from Hazard. And this was absolutely brilliant. This is world class. We talk about him influencing big games. It's wonderful. And this typified the start of the second half. And De Gea makes an absolutely fantastic save. But from that, Chelsea go and score and are rewarded for their good period in the game at the first 6-7 minutes of the second half. We showed it yesterday where Drogba isolates Raphael. The delivery in the first half was poor. This time they get it right, and they're 1-0 up. They're 1-0 up in the match, and deservedly so.
And then are you thinking, I mean, you were commentating on the game, are you thinking potentially United are there for the taking?
Well, we were semi-critical of Chelsea I was semi-critical of Chelsea a few weeks ago away at Manchester City, because when City went down to 10 men, I thought Chelsea let them off the hook. And yesterday, at 1-0 up, I think Chelsea let United off the hook. I really do. And there's a mentality shift. And if you just look at the average positions for the first 53 minutes of the match, and you can see them there, and then you see the actual period from 54 to 67 when John Obi Mikel comes on. So this is not the manager changing it. This is actually a mentality shift with the current players on the pitch who've worked themselves into a 1-0 position. They've sat deeper. You can see that line up here, and you can see now number 10's back here and Williams the highest. So there's something changes. And we looked at a possession stat against Manchester City in the 10 minutes before the goal and the 10 minutes after the goal, and it's staggering. At Manchester City, they went from 55% possession the 10 minutes before the goal and the 10 minutes after the goal to 26% possession, and City had 10 men. Now, that can't be an instruction from your manager. That's a shift in the players. Yesterday, they go from 64% to 45%. They switch off. Something happens for them. And if we just look at the clips here now and we'll look at them, this is immediately after the goal. And already you can see Drogba and Oscar, sorry. And they're deeper. They're not putting the same pressure on United. They're allowing them to play and get comfort back after going 1 goal down. So you say that's a tactic, whether you agree with it or not, it's another thing. Could they have gone for the kill after the goal and started pressing higher? Oscar goes, but then he sits off again. Because if you look at these back here, they're walking up. They haven't got the urgency in their game that you would expect having just gone a goal up, and they allow United to play. But if you're going to do that, then you're playing counter-attack. You've got to go for it. And this is just after the goal, as I say. They win it back here now. They win it back in a good position. And they're breaking free with Hazard. And you're looking at that and you're thinking, right, sprint. He slows down a little bit, he passes. But there's still a bit of an intent there. The intent's gone off the pressing, but there's still an intent to counter-attack quickly. They're a bit higher up here. This is in about 2 or 3 minutes after that. And you think to yourself, right, move in for the kill. This is Eden Hazard. Let's just stop it there now and take it forward slowly. And I'm thinking, that's where Hazard's going. He's getting a yard. If you look at it in the middle, you've got Didier Drogba up against Luke Shaw in the middle. That's goal number 2. There's a 2-0 moment there for me. If I'm thinking of Chelsea, intent, what does Hazard do? Who's a wonderful player, stands on the ball. I think this is slightly showboating. And he passes it back 50 yards, 40 yards. And there's a change, there's a shift. And they're here now, I think 3 or 4 minutes after that, and then they've definitely changed. Hazard picks the ball up there, and this is, I'm thinking, the point where a killer team kill off United. 1, 2, 3. And that's Hazard up against Daley Blind. Daley Blind's intelligent. Fellaini and Di Maria here are out of the game. How can Hazard allow them to get back into a position whereby they pick the ball up? He should go past Blind quicker. He slows the attack down, then he goes a little bit quicker, but he's delayed. And these are big moments in the game for me. And then this is when Mikel comes on after 67 minutes. Wins the ball back there, then Gary Cahill supports him. And they're playing what you call possession football, but they're moving forward. They've got good numbers, they've got 5 or 6 bodies. But do they really believe they want to go and win the second goal? And from being on the edge of United's 18-yard line, and this happened 3 or 4 times, they end up back. And that, for me, is something that's going to have to alter. If a team are going to be playing for a 1-0, then you better see it out. And I think that when I saw Jose Mourinho 2 weeks ago, he talked about the 2005 team and the team he had then to the team that he had now, and he said the killer instinct's missing. And when I look at the sort of statistics from all those years ago, they scored, I mean, these are staggering statistics from that team he had first time round. 28 times they scored first, 27 times the season after, and only dropped 2 and 4 points. This team this season, even though they're at a really high level, have scored first 7 times and dropped 4 points. And I think that if you're moving it up a level in these next few weeks, and we're demanding a lot here from what is a fantastic team, they've got to get to that next level. Because I think they let United off the hook in the 15 minutes after the goal yesterday.
Yes, they didn't kill him off, and they were made to pay, Jamie.
The way, and we'll look at the set piece here, and this is a set piece before the sending off with Ivanovic involved, and on the right hand side here, is after he's gone off. And a lot was made of Ivanovic's role in the goal, how much he will have missed him. Of course you'll miss Ivanovic. He's a huge physical presence. But let's just look at the setup. Fabregas still in the same role. Willian, OK, let's replace him with Mikel, doing the same role. There's 6 giants here for Chelsea. There's 6 giants there for Chelsea. What's the difference? The difference is they've got no one in that role that Oscar's taken up there in this position. That's the big difference. Does that make a massive amount of difference to the goal? I don't think it does. Of course, you still want Ivanovic there, but they've still got Zuma who's come on now. He's a giant as well. We just run on a touch. But also the big difference is what United do. And the big difference is that. The position of Fellaini. On the first one, he's too far out wide. He's not in the danger zone. This one, he's in the danger zone. Let's see the goal now. The free kick. And the roll. And there's a few little details to look at. We've mentioned the positions of Fellaini. And we just stop it there. I want to highlight Rojo with John Terry. They've got 6 giants there, but the two players you really want attacking the ball, John Terry, Gary Cahill. Rojo does fantastic. Blocks him, stops him winning the ball. Just have a look at Gary Cahill compared to the other players. It looks like he's on stilts. He's so far higher than the other players. The reason is, as we mentioned last week with Tim Howard, the bouncing, and he's just caught in the air. The reason he's bouncing up and down is because there's that many bodies. I've been there myself, he can't see the ball. And there's nothing worse as a defender trying to defend a set piece late in the game and you can't see the ball. Sometimes you look around people, he's obviously jumping. As Di Maria is making connection there, he's at his highest point. We just slow it down as it comes in. I think Cahill has just landed now. Another problem he's got is it's an outswinging free kick. So it's coming onto Fellaini. So he's only just reacting now. The pace of that ball, it's an outswinger. And as you just look on connection, now, he's in such a strange position because as he's landed, the ball's come away from him. He's then got to try and launch himself at the ball with Fellaini coming onto it at his highest point. And it's a difficult one. He can't see the ball. He's been caught out. He's in the air. He's landed late. And if you run it on, and Robin van Persie smashes it in, the scenes from the players, the supporters, took me back to when I was playing 10, 15 years ago. I haven't seen that in the 18 months I've been doing the TV with Sky. I haven't seen a reaction like that at the end of the game from the supporters or the players. Who knows how big of a turning point it'll be